Hi! So, okay, I'm back again. And this time I decided to read Who Was Princess Diana? I was young. I was 1997, I believe is when she died. We'll get to that. I remember that I stayed up, I found out about her death, and it was awful because she was a wonderful woman. I remember watching her on TV, and she was very sweet, very beautiful. I always thought her sons were cute. Anyways, yeah, and I remember after when she got in that car accident that they had the funeral, obviously, right? And the funeral happened in London's time, which is different from, the United States times. And so I actually stayed up and I watched the funeral in the middle of the night. And it was sad. And I remember I cried, obviously, and also the song that Elton John sang for Princess Diana, the Goodbye England's Rose, I was bawling, but it was the most beautiful song ever. But anyways, let's get into this book now, okay? All right, who was Princess Diana? Before I go any further, first, before I read, there's a picture. So it's a carriage and horses, and there's people all around. Okay? On July 29th, 1981, England celebrated a national holiday. Prince Charles, the 32-year-old heir to the British throne, was about to marry Lady Diana Frances Spencer in the wedding of the century. Thousands of people lined the streets of London. 3/4 of a billion watched on television. As the crowd cheered, 21-year-old Diana stepped out of her horse-drawn coach, known as the glass carriage, in front of St. Paul's Cathedral in London. She was wearing a beautiful white dress and a sparkling gold and diamond tiara. Her train, the back of her dress, was 25 feet long. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh, when I got married, and they got married on July 29th. I got married on July 30th, but years later, obviously. My dress alone, I didn't have much for a train on my dress, and it was heavy. It was thick and heavy. I couldn't wait to get out of it. I can't imagine having a 25 feet long train to carry on with that big, puffy dress. Whew. The future princess walked into the church of the arm of her proud father, Earl John Spencer. 3,500 guests stood and watched the real-life Cinderella walk down the long aisle on a red carpet. Charles's mother, Elizabeth II, the Queen of England, and his father, Prince Philip, looked on proudly. Standing at the front of the church was Prince Charles. He wore his dark blue naval commander's uniform, and his wavy hair was perfectly combed. The handsome prince could have married anybody, and he had chosen Diana. This right here is Prince Charles. Not sure who the other two are, people from his wedding. And you can, I believe I Googled their wedding, and I think you can actually watch part of it or see some parts of it. It's neat. I couldn't take my eyes off him, Diana later said. I just absolutely thought I was the luckiest girl in the world. The royal wedding was ready to begin. The Archbishop of Canterbury, who presided over the ceremony, described the day as the stuff of which fairy tales are made. Most fairy tales end happily ever after, but real life, even the real life of a princess, is often more complicated. In the years after her marriage, Diana sometimes felt lonely and sad. Excuse me. Her life was not always as happy as the storybook one she had imagined. But the day of her wedding, when the whole world was watching, Diana was a happy bride. She couldn't wait to marry her Prince Charming. Another picture. Kind of wish the pictures were in color. It'd be really pretty. All right, so here's chapter 1. Princess Diana was born Diana Frances Spencer on July 1st, 1961. The Spencers had been a rich and powerful family for centuries. They were part of the British nobility of the wealthy ruling class. Diana had been born in Park House, a beautiful and large home on the Queen's estate at Sandringham, England. In the 1930s, Diana's grandparents were invited to live in the house by King George VI. Park House was then passed on to Diana's mother when she had a family of her own. Diana's father, John Spencer, held the title Viscount Althorp. Sure. He had been an officer in the British Army and had fought for England during World War II. Some pictures there. That was baby Diana and her parents. And there's the house. Here's the Spencer family tree. Princess Diana's family history can be traced back over 500 years. John Spencer was born in 1455. He owned almost 20,000 sheep and thousands of acres of land, making him one of the richest men in England. In 1519, Henry VIII, King of England, knighted him, making him Sir John Spencer. His knighthood established a connection between the Spencers and the King's family, the British monarchy that continues today. Sir John Spencer's wealth and land were also passed on through the generations. The Spencer family tree includes earls, dukes, barons, and admirals. Diana's brother, Charles, the 9th Earl Spencer, is the godson of Queen Elizabeth II. Okay. Diana's mother was Frances Spencer, Viscountess Althorp. Diana already had 2 older sisters, Sarah, who was 6 years old, and Jane, who was 4. Because they were such close friends of the royal family, people often said that each of the 3 Spencer girls might someday marry one of Queen Elizabeth II's 3 sons, Prince Charles, Prince Andrew, and Prince Edward. Okay, so the pictures here, I have John Spencer, the 1st Earl Spencer. And in this one, there's Charles, Andrew, and Edward. When Diana was born, the Spencers had been hoping for a son to carry on the family's name and inherit their fortune. In fact, the Spencers had not even picked out a girl's name. They decided on Diana a week after their 3rd daughter was born. As a young child, Diana often played alone. Her 2 older sisters were away at boarding school. Their growing up was done out of my sight, Diana later said. Diana's parents eventually had the son they always wanted. Charles Spencer was born in 1964. When Diana was almost 3 years old, Charles became Diana's best friend. The youngest Spencer children had fun exploring all of the Park House. The huge 10-bedroom mansion had long staircases with railings the children could slide down. I'll show you the pictures before I read on here. Okay. Diana was an athletic child. She enjoyed riding her bike, swimming in their pool, and climbing trees. She also liked playing with stuffed animals and kept many on her bed. So did I. I slept with all kinds of animals in my bed. She loved her real animals too. Diana had pet hamsters, guinea pigs. We have 3 guinea pigs. and a cat named Marmalade. Like many wealthy children, Diana and her brother had nannies. Diana, though, longed to be cared for by her mother. She and Charles tried to get a few of the nannies to quit and even threw their clothes out the window. But they quickly learned that a new nanny could always be hired to replace the old one. Aside from those few stunts with her brother, Diana was kind to the nannies. She would help them clean the playroom and do other housework. From an early age, Diana's father taught her to treat everybody as an individual and never throw your weight around. This meant Diana should treat everyone with kindness and never act more important than another person. Diana followed this rule her whole life. Everybody should follow that rule, right? Let me reread that rule. Treat everybody as an individual and never throw your weight around. Meaning, treat everyone with kindness and never act more important than any other person. Okay, remember that. Let's go into chapter 2. For the most of Diana's childhood, her mother and father did not get along. Diana's father was content to spend quiet days on the estate reading and hunting. Before I move on, here are some more pictures. Diana's mother was bored by the slow pace of country life. She wanted to travel and have a life filled with adventure. In 1967, when Diana was 6, her parents separated. Frances moved to London and John remained at Park House. Her sisters, Sarah and Jane, were still away at boarding school. In 1969, the Spencers got a divorce. Diana's father had custody of the children. Diana now lived with him during the week and in London with her mother on weekends. Diana attended Sillfield School near Park House, but there were times when she had trouble concentrating. Her parents' divorce had upset Diana very much. Most of the other students had parents who were still married, and Diana didn't like being different. She was only 8 years old and wanted her mother and father to stay together. When Diana was 9, she was sent to Riddlesworth Hall, an all-girls boarding school. She lived in a dormitory and only came home for holidays and occasional weekends. Diana danced and played the piano. She also enjoyed sports and was especially good at diving. But Diana's grades weren't very good. Here are some more pictures. I'm just going to say I'm learning a lot by Princess Diana just reading this book. It's pretty awesome. Instead, she was at her best when she was looking after others. She worked hard at being kind. In 1973, Diana changed schools to attend West Heath, the small private boarding school her sisters had attended. She continued to excel at swimming, but what she was really good at was looking after others. Every week, Diana and a friend visited an old woman who lived near the school. They cleaned her house, did errands for her, and spent time talking to her. Along with other West Heath students, Diana also visited a hospital for the mentally and physically handicapped once a week. Many of the patients were in wheelchairs. Some people are unsure how to act around people who are sick, but Diana easily spoke to each one. Her gentle manner made people smile. Even though Diana was a wealthy girl attending a private school, she never considered sick people or anyone else less than her equal. Even as a teenager, she was known for her caring nature. In her free time, Diana loved to read romance novels about young men and women falling in love and living happily ever after. She dreamed of one day falling in love. She had a poster of Prince Charles on her bedroom wall. Have you ever posted a picture of anyone who you thought was so gorgeous and you wish you could marry one day? Yeah, I'm guilty of that. At least hers, though, came true. Mine didn't come true. A lot of them I don't think do. Other girls in the school had posters of Prince Charles, too. The dashing prince was a handsome celebrity. He would be the King of England someday. Even though Diana herself was a member of the nobility, she idolized Prince Charles as if he were a movie star. In 1975, when Diana was almost 14, her grandfather, who was the 7th Earl Spencer, died. Diana's father became the 8th Earl Spencer. He and the children moved to Althorp, the family's enormous mansion and estate in North Hampshire, England. After her grandfather's death, Diana and her sisters each inherited the title of Lady. Her brother Charles, age 11, became the new Viscount Althorp, the 9th Earl Spencer. Diana was excited to become Lady Diana. She was less happy to leave her childhood home, but young Lady Diana Spencer was now growing into the noble role she was born to live out. The Althorp House. The Althorp was a majestic estate 75 miles northwest of London, England. The estate is on 14,000 acres, about the same size as the island of Manhattan. It has 90 rooms, including 31 bedrooms. Althorp is filled with rare books, paintings, and furniture that have been collected by the Spencer family for over 500 years. 19 generations of Spencers have lived on the estate since 1508. When Sir John Spencer purchased it, the property is always passed on through the family to the oldest living male heir. Today, Princess Diana's brother, Charles, is the owner of Althorp. Parts of the house are open to the public, and people are allowed to visit, stay overnight, and even host weddings there. Oh, I didn't know that. I might have to go there and visit one day. I would love to. There's that picture of it. Sounds amazing. I've always wanted to travel, and now I'm learning new places where I could travel. All right, I'm going to stop there for now with chapters 1 and 2. All right, I'll see you in the next video.